Hey guys, so this is a repeat of the demo we did in class on how to use classes and objects, just 101, the basic idea behind it. I'm going to show you both NetBeans and Replit, as a lot of people use either. It's basically the same kind of way, but there's a few little changes. So over here, this and most assignments that have classes are going to be divided into two parts. Up at the top, you've got the class, the new object that we are creating. And then at the bottom, you've got your test condition. This is going to be our normal programming code, just like we do in any other kind. Now, several of y'all had forgotten how to make a new project, so I'm going to include that in here. So rather than going the white box for a new program, we're going to go to the yellow box to create a new project. We do want it to be Java, so I go next. I uncheck this box, and then I give it whatever kind of name I want. So these are classes, so I'm just going to call it classes. You can make up whatever name you want, but that's a class file, okay? And it's going to make a project over here called classes. Everything I make inside here will appear right here, okay? So let's go ahead. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a class object, okay? Our circles, okay? We are Java, we're in classes, and we just select empty Java file. This is going to be circle, okay? Capitalized because we are creating a class, an object, okay? And it's going to pop up as an empty screen, okay? Now, as I mentioned in the demo, we actually found a very nice font. So this one will allow us to copy paste the whole thing without an error. Okay. And I'll do a little bit of shifting around just to tab these appropriately. Okay. So here we go. Here is our circle file. Now, it is a .java, but it's not a program. If I notice, I don't have a main method, okay? Up here, this is my class header, okay? Down here, global or state or instance variables. Lots of different names. They all mean about the same thing, just slightly differently. Here's our constructor method. And then anything after this, these are methods. Okay? Now, of these things, we do need to understand a little bit of what's going on. Okay? So right here, all the information that the object holds, that it keeps track of, is right here. It's just kind of floating in the ether of the class file. Okay? It's not inside any of these methods later on. It just exists there. And here we've just declared it. We've got public, we've got its data type, and then we've got its name. Now, what's useful about this is that every single method we have moving forward has access to that variable without having to create it or without having to pass it as a parameter. So as you can see, I don't have it inside any of these parentheses. I don't, with the exception of this one that sets radius, I don't have any values that have to create radius in order to perform its job, okay? The first method up here is always called the constructor. It is the easiest to locate because one, it's the first. The second, it's always the same name as our class. And its only job, the only thing it does is it creates objects and fills in all of these instance variables. We've only got the one, radius. So if we send it a double, that's what it sets our radius into. And we've created our object. A circle that has a radius of 1, of 2, of 3, of 7.83, whatever the case may be. Now down here below, these are object methods, okay? These work, but only with circle objects. And these are pretty straightforward. Area and circumference, well, guess what they calculate? The area and the circumference. Now, one thing that it does ask us to do up here is it wants us to create a double that calculates the diameter, a new method, which is what we've got down here. So we're just going to follow the hints that it gives us from up above. We know that it's going to be public. It tells us in the problem it's returning a double, and this one is called a diameter. Again, there's no parameters, and circle actually does not even have to have public for it to work because the class is public, so it's taken care of. Now, a diameter is 2 times the radius. So return 2 times radius, okay? And it turns green because, again, this is a global variable. Everything inside this class has access to it, okay? And that's it. That's the class file, okay? No main method, no imports, nothing crazy like that. This just defines basically our own custom structure and object, okay? If I wanted to add other methods like creating the area of a sector or finding the arc length, I could do those, but this is all it's asking us for right now, okay? So I'm done with circle. I can close it if I want, I can save it, all that's fine. Here's where the next complication comes in. So to do this part down here, the actual program we have to write, which as you can see, super short, I have to make sure I'm in the same project that we created earlier. So it's called classes. So I need to make a new file, and I just need to make sure that I'm in classes. I am. And we'll call this circle tester. Okay, just to follow along. No package, no nothing like that. We're good there. And again, we get a blank file. Again, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. Copy, paste. And then I'll zoom in. And tab these over again. Okay. So I'm creating a new circle object. And as long as circle is inside that class file or the project folder, it should work without any issues. No errors, no nothing like that. And if I run it, it's going to send 35.5 and create a circle with that radius. Then it's going to print out the diameter. Well, we just figured out the diameter is 2 times the radius, so that means it should print out 71. Okay, 35.5 times 2, which it did. We don't have any units, but that's okay for the time being. Again, I could access any of these other methods as well, okay? So I could, so first thing I could do is I could get just the radius, just to confirm. Now, radius is a data point. It's a piece of information inside the object. It is not one of our methods. So no extra parentheses on this one. But circumference and area are methods. So those do need those extra parentheses if we want to access them, okay? So now I'll print 4 values out, again, without units. We don't know the problem situation. We don't have any story to go along with it, so it's just units. And that's it, okay? Hey guys, so this is gonna be the Replit side of the same thing. Now, again, with all the changes they've made to Replit this year, there can be some lag issues. So not highly recommended, but it's still functional, okay? So the first thing I need to do is I need to create a new REPL. It's Java. I can give it whatever name I want. Circle class, if I can spell class right. Okay, just so that I know what it is to be what's going on. So they made all kinds of little things right here. I don't want the Ghost Rider. I don't want the shell. Just, there you go, basic things. All right, so this is main. This is going to be my program file, and I'm not going to be able to make too many changes here. So I'm going to leave this alone for the time being. Now, in order to do a class with Replit, because it's a browser-based IDE, I can't just make a new REPL and refer back to it, okay? So I have to go right here to add a new file. And what I'm going to add is my circle file, okay? And it's going to be a Java, and I just hit enter, and it's empty, okay? Just like I did over in NetBeans, I can copy all of this over here and paste it, okay? All right, tab some stuff over. Public doesn't actually need one. Tab. Again, that's our constructor method. Okay, and then this is asking for the diameter. Okay, so I've copied everything over. Again, just like I did on NetBeans, I need to make the diameter. So public double diameter, no parameters. Return 2 times radius. Okay, there's my entire thing. And again, you can tell they've messed with our stuff because I haven't even run anything, but it's pegging out on the resources. Okay, so again, I highly recommend you use a Rail IDE, but as long as you're willing to wait the time, it will work. Now I'm going to go back to my main file. This is my normal programming file. Okay, so this has got my main method and all that good stuff I need, and that's where I copy all of these things. Okay, so I replace hello world. There we go. And yeah. So now when I run this, it can see circle because it's within the same REPL. It's just like when we used it to read from a file. We had to create our own file within the REPL. Same situation. And here you go. Took a little bit longer because it's not automatic, but it does give us the same value. And again, if I wanted to do all the others, they would eventually work, yes. I'll just do 2 just to be nice. And radius. So that should spit out the 35.5 as the last value. Again, still works. It's pegging out the resources that they allot us online, but it does give us our values. And I hope this helps.